If you are a victim of the LM investments, mismanagement of funds, fund fraud, or breach of trust with a fraudulent intention, otherwise known as a Ponzi scheme, there is still hope of recovering your lost money.
But some fund managers are forging on.
Offering a global pathway to these burgeoning Australian investment opportunities is LM Investment Management Limited, an Australian...
With the celebrity gardener Jamie Jury as its chief spruiker, LM is expanding worldwide. But back home, some of its clients aren't doing so well. Danny Marr is a financial planner from Cairns.
So you're pretty much involved in a salvage operation on behalf...
He's trying to salvage the lives of people convinced by another advisor to put their money in a fund run by LM Investments.
How much has been lost in these mortgage trusts up here?
Oh, look, it's hard to quantify. I know of one trust, the LM First Mortgage Income Fund, that there's about $20 million worth of exposure here in the Cairns and Far North Queensland area.
20 million in this area, that is huge.
Well, it's quite a sizable fund, and you know, some of these people, unfortunately they're mainly retirees and it's their livelihood. They've lost life savings.
We drove north from Cairns to meet one of those people. He's a retired cane cutter, the son of Italian immigrants, and he's lived for 45 years high up in the hills between Cairns and Mossman. His name is Sam Leonardi.
How you going, Dan? G'day, Sam. How are you? Not too bad, mate. That's the way.
Yep, out in the good country now, mate.
We are.
Out in the good country.
Sam, good to meet you.
Pleased to meet you.
Stephen Long.
Yeah, pleased to meet you, Stephen. That's good, mate, yeah.
Beautiful place you've got up here.
Oh, yeah, it's lovely. It's a bit of paradise here.
It really is.
Never gets hot here, mate. That's why I hate...
Sam left school early and had a working life of hard physical labour.
Oh, well, I started cutting cane in 1949. I was 16. I worked 7 days a week up until 20 years ago. 7 days a week, 20 years ago. And I've never had a holiday or double time paid in my life, in my whole life.
How do you feel about what's happened with your money?
I'm happy that I'm 80, that I won't be around in 4, 5 or 6, 8 years' time to what's going to happen to this country. I'm happy that I'm getting out the hell out of it. But I feel sorry for the young people because there's no more justice. You know, what can you do, you know?
Sam Leonardi put $210,000, most of his retirement savings, into the LM First Mortgage Income Fund, on the advice of a financial planner who was enthusiastically marketing the scheme.
It was safe as a bank, I thought.
Not as safe as a bank at all. Like most mortgage funds, it was lending when banks wouldn't lend. When the GFC hit, the risks were exposed. Nearly all of the mortgages in the fund are in default. Sam's going to lose at least 41 cents of every dollar he invested.
A bloke that had no education and went to school and knocked off school at 15 and cut cane in when I was 16. I made the money and then I give it to people that's got the brains and education to double it so I can get my share and they can get their share and they go and lose it. How do you work that out? It was a rundown dairy farm.
Okay.
Sam's had hardly any income for 4 years. He can't get his money out of the fund, but he can't get a pension either because the investment still counts as an asset. He needs a knee replacement, but he's had to put it on hold and live with the pain.
Cane farming and cattle, no wonder you got a knee problem.
No, it was an injury through a fight.
Through a fight?
Through a fight about 25 years ago. After the fight, I was crippled. I could hardly walk back to my house.
What kind of fight?
Fist fight in town.
That's
yeah, my bloody health, mate.
Biffo in town?
Yeah.
Just in really general...
Danny Marr is dismayed by the financial advice that convinced Sam to bet his retirement savings on this risky investment.
Oh, it sickens me to the core because this is my profession. This is the profession that I signed up to help people with their retirement, to help them, you know, to live a successful life. If an accountant makes a mistake in a tax return, yeah, it hurts, but you get over it. If a financial planner is incompetent, it has the potential to completely devastate the rest of your life.
But while Sam's got food on the table and a guitar in his hand, you figure he might just get by.
Oh, the whole bows are all heading northwards, 'cause summertime nearly is done. So just like the rich and the wealthy, we'll travel around with the sun. I'll be in the north for the winter, up in the sunshine again. And it's no use you talking to me about walking, 'cause I'm going to travel by train.
LM Investments owner and chief executive Peter Drake has done well out of the funds management business. His beachfront mansion on the Gold Coast straddles 4 blocks of land, with a purpose-built skateboard park for the kids. Despite problems with some funds, LM can still boast of managing $3 billion in realisable assets. We were hoping Peter Drake would tell us the secrets of his success.
Stephen Long from Four Corners.
Thanks, Steve.
We're doing a story and we're interested in doing an interview with you about LM.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, can we arrange that?
Yeah.
You in town today or?
No, I'm actually going to Brisbane and New Zealand.
Okay.
Back tomorrow.
Back tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me a call.
Terrific.
We never did get that interview. One of the questions we wanted to put was, why didn't LM Investment cut its losses earlier and wind up the fund that Sam Leonardi had his money in?
Okay.
I wrote to LM and expressed to them that I felt that in the interest of protecting the interests of unit holders in the fund and the remaining funds in the fund, that the fund should be wound up. And we was flatly told, no, that's not the case. We know what we're doing. The whole time, everything was spin, and we're going to reopen the fund. We're going to have new money coming in. There's financial planners waiting to put money in, but none of that came to reality.
Peter Drake argued plausibly off camera that LM did the right thing by delaying the wind-up of the fund, saying it avoided a fire sale of assets. But it also had an incentive to keep the fund running because of the fees it made for the parent company.
Terrific.
See you, boys.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Stephen, is it?
Yes.
That fund accounted for more than 50% of LM administration's fees. If you looked at the size of the other LM funds at the time, they were tiny. This thing was their flagship. This was their primary source of income.
The market for mortgage funds in Australia is now all but dead. LM concedes it can't get new business here. So now it's selling its funds entirely to investors offshore, with some curious claims.
We pay ourselves last, the management fee.
This video appears on Peter Drake's website.
You're going to hear me waxing lyrical a little bit about the Australian economy. We're in fact both British.
It shows Simon Bottle, an ex-Goldman Sachs employee, who is now LM Investments' European Development Manager based in London. He was speaking to financial planners and investors in Israel, and this is what he told them about LM Investments.
We're highly regulated in Australia, so we're regulated twice. We're regulated as a private bank and we're regulated as a fund manager.
Well, clearly he doesn't know what he's talking about, or he's plainly told a lie. LM's not regulated as a bank.
Integrates in the local jurisdiction.
Simon Bottle repeats the claim on his CV, saying LM Investment operates in Australia as a conservative and highly rated private bank. In the past, LM has sold its managed performance fund in similar terms, as a bank-like facility. LM Investments, in its literature, describes its funds, or some of its funds, as bank-like. What do you think of that?
I think that that is quite interesting. I hadn't heard that, and thank you for the information.
LM Investments has told financial planners offshore that it is doubly regulated, first as a fund manager, secondly as a bank. What do you think of that?
That is something that I wasn't aware of, and it's something that we will have a closer look at.
This block of land is the new big thing for LM Investments.
Hi, I'm Jamie Jury, and this is Madison Estate, a residential community masterpiece now taking shape on the beautiful Gold Coast.
Madison Estate is at Pimpama, about 20 k's from the coast. It's the flagship for LM's Managed Performance Fund, and LM has grand plans for the land.
With 6 world-class sports parks, including the Sam Riley Swimming and Leisure Centre, the Natalie Cook Sandstorm Beach Volleyball Facility, and the world's first continuous wave surf park designed by 11-time world champion pro surfer Kelly Slater.
LM Investments reckons that when it's all built and sold, Madison Estate will be worth $1 billion to $1.5 billion. But it could be a long time coming.
The market currently is trading at 35% of the 10-year average in terms of volumes of land sales across the Gold Coast.
Andrew Rubicek is a Brisbane-based Gold Coast specialist with Colliers International. He says there were 800 land sales on the entire Gold Coast over the past year. There are 800 lots on Madison alone.
From my experience, it is unusual for a single development to attract a market share or to achieve a market share greater than 8 to 9%. I mean, 10% would be outstanding. So if you're a developer in the market at the moment in these conditions, to achieve a sales volume of 60 sales per annum would be a very good result.
Madison Estate was purchased for $89 million at the top of the market. Work's just begun, but before a sod was turned, the borrowing stood at $250 million. There's a small first mortgage to Suncorp and a very large second mortgage in the name of companies controlled by Peter Drake. That second mortgage makes up 62.5% of the assets in the LM Managed Performance Fund. It's been growing as unpaid interest is added to the debt, and now stands at more than $240 million.
If I was an investor in that fund, I would have concerns as to so much of my investment being exposed to one asset when the fund is marketed as a multi-asset fund. I'd also have major concerns where my income's being derived when that estate, Madison Estate, is very much in its infancy.
But investors keep piling in, despite the fees. A management fee of 5% a year, with an option to raise it to 10%. A financial planner's fee of 4.4% in the first year. Then a 3.3% ongoing trailing commission. Annual fees of between 8 and 14%. The fund is paying investors a reasonable return, about 8% a year. But with no land yet sold at Madison, where's the money coming from?
I don't know. All I can determine is that there's money coming into the fund from new investors, and the loan from LM Managed Performance Fund to Madison is continuing to grow. So I think interest is being capitalised, and I think funds coming in from new investors are being used to pay distributions.
LM has successfully lent...
LM Investments has confirmed to Four Corners that income from new investors in the Managed Performance Fund is being used to pay returns to existing investors, though it says these payments are also being funded by cash and income from other assets in the fund.
Relax in Madison Village.
If the Gold Coast economy booms, Madison could be a winner, but it's not without risk.
Welcome home.
If you have purchased LM MPF Managed Performance Fund and or other LM Group funds including the Trilogy Wholesale FMIF through a trustee or direct on the Insurers platform and have lost money, you may be entitled to recover money lost. If you bought the fund via a UK regulated pension, such as a SIPP or CRUPS, you could be eligible to claim with the Financial Services Compensation Scheme FSCS and receive compensation. This does not exclude you from joining the group action. Please visit mpf.expatinvestmentfraud.com for more information.